with an 8-1 record, winners of 7 straight. Houston is 2 games back, and they'll be in Salt Lake City on Saturday. Atlanta has awakened from the doldrums. They've won back-to-back matches to slide into 4th. And remember, at season's end in early April, the top 4 teams advance to the Lovb playoffs. Atlanta has been getting some inspired play from Onya Afebu, the second-year middle blocker.
Yeah, Rich, there's no other way to describe this. She is an absolute nightmare for opponent block defense. You're talking about an athlete that touches over 11 feet, hits with wide range. So it's really hard to stop for one blocker, let alone a whole block defense. And how does that translate to numbers? Like you said, 13 kills on 14 swings, and it's .929, which is a record in Lovb.
She actually had 13 kills her first 13 swings in that last match, and then the next to last point, she ended up taking a swing that wasn't a kill, so a .929 attack percentage. Also had 4 blocks and an ace, 18 points. She is getting better and better. And across the net, she'll be eyeing Amber Igidi of Houston, who's become a beast here in her 3rd pro season.
Yeah, and she's been doing it all year. Her numbers are fantastic. You know, she's hitting almost 500 kills, 2/3 of every ball she touches. And my question to this is, can Houston get her the ball more often? She has some of the highest hitting percentage and is the most efficient attacker in the league. Just got to get her the ball more often.
We'll see if they're able to do that tonight. Igidi, big part of what Houston is trying to do, and they will need to get her involved throughout this season if they're going to win this championship. Houston starting lineup presented by Adidas. First-year head coach Sanja Tomasevic has his team on a roll. Opposite Jordan Thompson, the Olympic gold medalist and silver medalist, by far the best player on the team, in the league, and one of the best in the world. And she's by far the most common target of setter Kaisa Olanko. Jasmine White getting the start at middle blocker in place of Rafaela Foley. The Atlanta starting lineup, likewise presented by Adidas. Paulo Coco in his 2nd year, the league's coach of the year in last year's inaugural season. He's without his leading attacker, opposite Tessa Grubbs, out for the year with an ankle injury. Ivana Montaño, the 13th-year pro from Colombia, will look to fill her shoes. Let's have a look at our scouting report presented by Chase.
You know, the one thing about Lovb Volleyball we talk about is how many Olympians and players with national team experience, 32 international athletes. Well, you got these young guns in Atlanta. 3 of their starting 7 players graduated in 2024, and 1 of them in 23. That's a lot of fledgling professionals out on the floor. And opposite for Houston, you know, you got an Avenger on the roster. You got Jordan Thompson that can do everything. And of course, he's going to get the lion's share of the swings, but I would like to see them balance that attack more, take some pressure off of her.
An Avenger indeed. Sometimes I feel like she should be wearing a cape. This is a 2nd meeting this year. Houston won in 4 in Atlanta in a USA Network match of the week back on January 28th. All 4 sets were close. Jordan Thompson had 24 kills at .396, and Houston was able to get their middle blockers involved. Igidi had 10 kills and Foley had 6.
Yeah, it's interesting, Foley not starting tonight. So you got Michaela White in the match, and she's got 1 swing on the year. So we'll see how much they want to utilize her in this match.
Yeah, her first start. White, the 11th-year pro out of Oshawa, Ontario, out of Michigan State. And she played briefly against Madison in their most recent match on Saturday in Kansas City. And took 1 swing and had a kill. Her only kill this year. They start in rotation 1 with Kaisa Olanko, their starting setter, with Micah Hancock, like Jordan Thompson. Hancock out right now with a neck injury. It's the 6th all-time meeting between these two, and we will tell you a little bit more about that in a bit. And they go to Afebu quickly, gets dug by Briseño. Back of the face, good coverage. Second swing of the rally from Merzick. Got dug by Fairbanks. Adams dug by Merzick. Bump set, here comes Merzick's 3rd swing of the rally. Good coverage by Briseño, well done. Fairbanks, off speed from Adams. Briseño with a bump set. JT blocked by Adams, but out of bounds. And Jordan Thompson getting it done.
That's what impressed me a lot about this year is how many swings it takes to get a kill. You talk about yours like 3 on the outside, great stuff block, ball barely gets tooled out of bounds. You know, blocking's not an exact science.
And Olanko will serve again. Montaño Starting in place of Tessa Grubbs. Grubbs out for the year with an ankle injury, a grade 3 ankle sprain that included complete tears for the second consecutive year. So Aloni, the 13th year pro out of Columbia, getting the start. Onye Afebu serves for Houston, for Atlanta, and it's a service error. League One Volleyball, best of 5 sets. First 4 sets to 25. Of course, you have to win by 2. 5th set, if necessary, to 15.
Yeah, it's always interesting at the beginning of a match to see if they want to stick to tendencies they had last week, or do they know their opponent saw what their tendencies were and trying to do something new.
And here's Jess Merzick, national champion with Penn State in 2024, and Magdaya Helasheva sends one to the floor. Player out of Washington State. You saw her plenty when you were at UCLA.
Yeah, unfortunately, she's tough to stop. You see that gap set, she's right between the 2 blockers, and because they're so fast to the pins, you can't really commit on that. So there's always going to be a little seam there.
Montano's jump serve goes wide. Second service error early in this match for Atlanta. And it's 3-2 Houston.
Yeah, if you're going to make an error, it's okay. A ball that clears the net, makes the passers choose whether they want to touch it or not, obviously going to be a better situation.
Jasmine White serve. Adams. And Polanco unable to dig it.
Yeah, that's her go-to, that crossbody swing. Goes to approach on that ball, has her chest facing the setter almost, and goes right across her body down the line.
And there is Mackenzie Adams. Adams, a 12th year pro out of Schertz, Texas. And another service error for Atlanta. That's 3 so far here early in this first set.
Well, if their goal is to stop Houston from finding offensive rhythm, they're doing a great job so far.
Paulo Coco, last year's League One Volleyball Coach of the Year, always wears his heart on his sleeve. And there is Jordan Thompson. Absolutely electric to watch. Speaking of that, flying out of that back row, out of the pipe, Ivani Montano.
Yeah, it's really important to get her going out of the back row early. You know, before she stepped in for Tessa Grubbs, she was basically in a double sub situation, so didn't hit out of the back row. So it's great to get her going out of the back row early in this match.
Thompson unable to dig it. Elasheva's serve. Briseño pass on the dime. On the slide, Igidi. Sit back over. Kingdon Rischel. Dug by Adams. Off the soft block, off the swing from Eva Hudson. Igidi comes up with a kill. Amber Igidi, her first of the match.
Yeah, great job by Igidi, who went behind the setter for the first couple points of that rally, and then ends up slotting and going in that front shoot set to the middle, finding open court.
Seems to be coming into her own. Maddie Kingdon Rischel, the veteran, serves it away. Adams' pass was a good one, and Afebu answers with a kill.
Yeah, if you notice that the left front blocker came in to help, like we talked about in the setup for the match, she's hard to stop one-on-one. As soon as that left front blocker comes in to help, that tip becomes available. Great job recognizing that.
And a great pass by Mac Adams, who's 4th in the league, passing percentage, .556. League average is .489. Good pass percentage. 4 service errors early in this match now for Atlanta.
Yeah, that's the missed free throw virus going right now. Someone's just got to get one in.
And now Amber Igidi out of the University of Hawaii. And Igidi dials one up. 7-5 Houston.
Rich, was that the announcer's jinx? That was Mackenzie with the passing error right there.
See if they target her again. Between the seam of Hudson and Adams, and it goes long. Service error for Igidi, so she has the ace in the air. And it's 7-6. And count them up. It just continues. That's 5 service errors in Houston's 8 points. Eva Hudson going long.
Yeah, I know people talk a lot about the pressure of serve at this point. Hey, let's just get into this match, chip it in, see what Houston can do offensively.
And that was just Hudson's 3rd service error in 71 attempts this year. And they trade them. Sonja Tomasevic. Tomasevic last couple of years coached for Vakifbank in Turkey, yet another one. It is an absolute epidemic of service errors, 6 of them so far for Atlanta.
Not much more I can say about this one. Just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. They just got to start getting the serve in, see what Houston wants to do offensively.
Merzick, the second-year pro out of Penn State. There's a good pass by Adams. There's Montano, dug by Merzick. Kingdon-Rishel puts it away. Maddie Kingdon-Rishel, her first kill.
Really smart swing. The auto system set was not great, like 7 feet off the net. Does a good job of not looking high hands, just keeps in that deep corner, and luckily it's between the defenders.
Often finds a way to get it done. Fairbanks going back to Montano, who finds a hole in the floor after another good pass by Mac Adams.
Yeah, beautiful job. We talked about Tessa Grubbs in the opening, and the fact that Montano's got to fill a lot of swings. Grubbs had so many swings before she got injured, so Montano's got to kind of carry the same amount of load.
Against Nebraska last week, 28 swings, 8 kills, hit 170. Kingdon-Rishel off the soft block, dug by Pinoy. Mac Adams right atop the net. Good defensive play by the setter, Rachel Fairbanks. Jasmine White with an attack error out of the middle. I don't think that was the contact she wanted.
No, it's too bad. They got a good free ball situation, all hitters available. Again, I think when Atlanta sends that ball over, they could have taken it to the setter. They kind of gave an easy free ball and allowed Houston to run full offense.
White starting in place of Rafaela Foley, who was out fully participating in warm-ups. There's Jordan Thompson, hard angle attack.
There it is. And when you see that from an end zone view, you're going to see how far that ball crosses the block inside. There's really nothing the block can do except setting it up inside. So watch how far inside that ball crosses. That block's got to move 3 feet inside if they want to touch it, and then the line's open.
How can you beat that?
You can't. That's why she is who she is.
She is so good.
Good recycle.
Put down. Amber Igidi. Good recycle by Jordan. Houston had their number last year.
No, exactly.
That's the second ace of the match for Lovb Houston. And Jasmine White, her first 8. That was just her 12th serve all season.
Yeah, and this is one of those rotations where libero has to pass on the right back, so you have 2 outsides next to each other, so it's easier to find seams, and the passing quality is going to be a little less.
Will it be consecutive aces? Kept alive. Can Pinoy get this over the net? She does. Not an ace, but it's a free ball coming for Alonco. She tees up JT, and we have a net violation against Atlanta. It was going to go Houston's way either way.
And again, that same swing we saw earlier, and why change it? She's hitting that ball so high and so far inside the block that the block needs to make a giant adjustment to change it. And she's so talented, as soon as they move that block in, she's going to bounce it down the line.
We'll keep an eye open for that. LMA Powell, who didn't play in their last match last week, comes in as the setter for Atlanta. LMA Powell, the 3rd-year pro out of Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's 14-9 Houston. Paulo Coco pacing in the background, as he always does. And White will serve again, applying tons of pressure with her serves. Atlanta. Very nearly an overpass, too tight to the net. Kingdon-Rishel off speed. Very creative player. We'll learn a little bit more about her during our intermission between the 2nd and 3rd sets.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of different kinds of tips tonight, and that was definitely not a recycle.
Timeout taken by Atlanta. Kaisa Alonco was anointed the starting setter with their 4th match. Now, their expected starting setter, Micah Hancock, Olympic gold medalist in Tokyo in 2021, Olympic silver medalist in Paris in 2024. Back in the Athletes Unlimited Championship in the fall, she hurt her neck. And so Hancock has been unable to play at full strength and has not played at all since the 3rd match of the year. Kaisa Alonco is the starting setter. And Nicole Brown, I made a good point when I worked with her a couple of weeks ago. She said that ever since Alonco got the keys, she knew the gig was hers. It kind of freed her up.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't have to look on the bench. You don't have to worry about how quality is my setting. Is someone else coming in for me? When you know it's yours to run, there's a lot of freedom in that to make some errors and keep pushing offense.
There is Micah Hancock, one of my favorite players to watch in this entire league. Again, a neck injury, sitting next to Grace Froling. also out with an injury, and we hope those two players are back soon. Diving dig by LMA Powell. Back row attack by Merzic, dug by Pinoy. Kept alive by Yelasheva. Free ball coming. Back set, Thompson. Pinoy with a dig on the dime. And JT tools the block. 16-9, Houston on the run.
Different swing, same result. It was interesting on her first swing, she went to that sharp cross court again. The middle blocker was so late filling, she actually took it away. And that last time was just able to find a quick, easy seam. Atlanta's definitely struggling in their offensive rotation of if they want to stack this left or spread it.
White serve again. Mac Adams off the soft block, dug by Alanko, set by Merzic, swing by JT. Off the soft block, here comes Powell. Powell, that's a big kill for Atlanta. They needed that one from Carly DeHoog, who's only playing in her 5th set this year.
Yeah, with Grubbs out, all of a sudden she becomes the athlete coming in the double sub. So she'll come with LMA Powell. Both played at Washington. I can't remember if they were there at the same time, but they definitely know each other.
Carly DeHoog, 8th year pro. LMA Powell, 3rd year pro. I don't think they overlapped. Kingdon Rishel again, this time down the line. Side out Houston, they lead 17-10.
Yeah, nice job running speed to the pin on a kind of a medium pass situation. Pass got pulled forward, middle's probably not available. By running speed to the pin, you can create little holes in the block.
Now Thompson will serve, heaves a big sigh. Really tough service this year from Thompson. Off speed by Kingdon Rishel, diving dig by Hudson. Off speed from DeHoog. Carly DeHoog comes up with her 2nd kill, side out Atlanta.
Yeah, that's a high level tip right there. The right front blocker for Houston came under, read the tip, and she just pushed it across the net all the way, and Jordan Thompson wasn't out tight enough to the net to pick that up.
DeHoog, 8th year pro. Overseas stops in Sweden, France, Poland, and Italy. Grew up in Ontario, California on a dairy farm. 17-11, Houston leading. What's Atlanta need to do to kind of turn the tide here?
You know what? Just start playing. You don't worry about winning this set. You don't need to come back and win this. You need to just start going. I'll tell you what, there are times where I would rather lose 25-11 than 25-23. Atlanta's already thinking about the next set. And Houston has a false sense of confidence because they're playing this whole entire first set with a 7-point cushion. Let this one wash through, you re-rack it, and it's 0-0.
Easy to flush it
Easy
if it's 25-11 as opposed to 25-23?
Yeah. There's no disappointment. They already know they're going to lose this set, so they can just move on to the next one. They're already excited to start set 2 right now.
What can you do to build momentum for set 2?
You know, just obviously serve in. That would be really nice. Serve in. Just whatever your scouting report was on offense of what you wanted to accomplish in this match, just start running it. You know, they've had some passing errors. They've had some reception issues that haven't allowed them to run the offense they would like to run. So it's basically just starting 0-0 right now and just try to be who Atlanta is.
Fairbanks and Montano back in. And an ace for Rachel Fairbanks. That's their first ace to go along with the 6 earlier service errors. Houston's passing 41.9%. That is by far the lowest in the league. Maddie Walk in the match at center. She dug that one there. Bump set Briseño. Logan Lednicki has the bottom drop out of one and has her first kill. Side out Houston. Any thoughts Atlanta had of going a little run there with Fairbanks at the service line have gone away.
Yeah, big out-of-system set, dies inside. Lednicki does a good job of getting her feet to that ball, and it's sometimes hard for the block to read late to come in with her.
Walk and Lednicki less than 2 months away from winning the NCAA championship with Texas A&M. A Fabu side out.
And that's what Onya did all last week. So it's getting her involved in this match. She's hitting that same angle she did last week. Just get more consistent, more opportunities for it.
Lednicki. Good coverage by White, who's having a good first set. Cross body by Lednicki and gets it done.
Beautiful swing. Again, ball dives inside. That time the block moves in with her, and she's able to just turn it down the line. See, that block's inside there, which opens up that line channel. Defender doesn't have enough time to get deep enough down that line. So she's doing a great job of hitting what's available.
Good court vision for Lednicki, the first-year pro. Back on December 21st. Those two players coming off the court right now. Walk and Lednicki, they were part of one of the great stories in college volleyball history. Texas A&M winning the national championship under head coach Jamie Morrison. Hudson's pass. Adams. Mackenzie Adams coming up with a kill. Side out Atlanta, 20-15.
Yeah, and that's kind of what they do. You know, they're quick to the pins. The blocker's really late because we talked about, you know, Onya being such a distraction in the middle. You're going to find those late blockers trying to fill, and they're just really good at going fast to the pins. So get Adams going. Just find out who you guys are. Don't worry about winning this set.
Adam Jehalasheva, Montano in the front row. McGrady with the serve. JT wrist away down the line. So there you go. She's got it all.
Yeah, I mean, my whole pregame was talking about finding balance. If she's going to do this, just keep setting her. It's so hard to stop. Her range and her altitude, it's just so elite.
She can go down the line. She can go hard angle. She can go deep corner, over the top. In golf, you want a very narrow dispersion pattern. In volleyball, you want a wide one.
You need a wide fan.
Montano off the block and out of bounds. Giovanni Montano gets a side out for Atlanta. As again, they try to build some momentum for that second set. 21-16 Houston, and Montano will serve.
Yeah, and credit the first swing by Atlanta, swinging high and flat in the block. So the cover ball is easy to get, so you get a good second swing opportunity. If you get stuff straight down, that's on you as an attacker. If you bring that ball back flat, then you got teammates that can pick that up.
Thompson into the block, covered up by White again. That point goes, that was 4 hits, didn't get over. 21-17.
See, Rich, as soon as we stopped worrying about winning the set, we got right back in it.
Mm-hmm. So just kind of let it fly, right?
Yeah, again, it's just you can win a set playing bad volleyball, but you can't win being disappointed.
Kingdon Rischel out of system, dug by Montano. Montano with the swing, and Briseño couldn't dig it. 21-18.
That's a perfect example of why you see so many athletes tipping. So Rochelle just puts that in play, control. Now you have 3 hitters coming back in system. If she would have tipped that ball, because at 8 feet you're not going to get a kill. If you just tip that in and bring Montano up, she's no longer attacking. Now you got 3 blockers on 2 attackers.
I see, great point. Get her involved in a different way. Timeout taken by Houston. Giovanni Montano with that kill, and she's starting in place of Tessa Grubbs. Second consecutive year, and the hope is that she can have that surgery, be healthy next year and beyond. We wish Tessa Grubbs the best. Injured back on February 7th. Polanco teeing up Kingdon Rischel, and Maddie Kingdon Rischel gets the side out for Houston, and they're 3 points away from a first set win.
Yeah, that's a huge side out. Talking about 4 points versus 2. If they don't get that side out, anything can happen in this first set.
Yep.
Being down so much.
That is a big point. Kingdon Rischel now with 4 kills. Atlanta, the beneficiaries of the service error there. Jasmine White comes out.
Well, regardless of what happens in this first set, momentum has shifted.
Yeah, think of all those service errors earlier in the set. Without those, Atlanta would be right in this one, maybe even leading. (22-19) now.
Yeah, there's nothing great about winning a set by 8 or 9 points the whole time and then someone starts creeping back in.
In fact, 22-20 with Adams at the service line.
It's a bad feeling.
That pass kind of worked out. JT off the soft block, dug by Montano. Outside Hudson. Covered up by Jehalasheva. Combo play. Hudson speared by Briseño. Kept alive by Maddie Kingdon Rischel. How'd she get that inside the antenna? Off speed. Pancake by Briseño. Kept alive
We're going to have a challenge here regardless.
Back row attack by Montano, the D ball, and the point goes to Atlanta. Either way, they're only down by 1.
1 point, that's all it took. You get so lulled to sleep with such a big lead through that match, and as Atlanta just slowly starts climbing back in, anything can happen.
Adams targeting Kingdon Rischel. Jordan Thompson dug by Adams, a chance for Atlanta to tie. Montano D-ball again, and she does it. We are even at 22. We wrote the eulogy on this set.
We did, we tricked them. And if you look, Adams is not ripping her serve. It's about 2/3 speed, putting it in play, forcing Houston to play.
She's 3rd in the league in service aces per set, but opponents are insistent 51% of the time. At a critical time for the 7th service error for Atlanta in this set. The first since early in this set. Houston by 1.
You know, she did her job. She came in and scored real points, got back into it. I'm okay with that miss. She wasn't trying to hit it really, really hard, so just unfortunate it sailed long.
Jordan Thompson serve. Going after Negrati. Options here for Alanko. She goes to Kingdon Rischel. This time Thompson out of the back row. Negrati with an excellent dig. The over dig. Here comes Thompson again. Second swing of the rally, dug by Montano. They can tie it up again. Montano off speed this time. Alanko was there. Maya Sands with a bump set. Kingdon Rischel. Diving dig by Montano, who's been everywhere this set. Hudson, free ball again here. Alanko. Igidi off speed. Speared by Pinoy, but not enough.
That's unfortunate. Great tip by Atlanta to tip Rochelle out of the play. She's no longer able to get an approach. Igidi does a good job of spreading her route to spread the net, but there's only 2 hitters available. So Atlanta did a good job of that recycle play, just wasn't able to take advantage of it.
Houston saw Atlanta get back into the set, but they still are at set point. Back row attack by Montano. They get one back. Second set point coming up as Briseño couldn't dig it.
I'm not a gambling man, but do they go to Thompson again? I think in the last couple rallies they've gone to her too often. He had some opportunities. They set Igidi in some of those transition plays and kept going to Jordan. Let's see what they do out of the side out.
Yelasheva serve, and it's an ace. Magdalena Yelasheva ties it up at 24. 2 set points for Houston gone awry.
Yeah, this is a pretty unbelievable comeback.
Yelasheva's 6th service ace this year. Briseño's pass on the money. They need it. Back row attack. Thompson out of the pipe. 3rd set point for Houston.
Yeah, I guess not too much of a surprise to go back to her in that situation. Kind of a quick pass. I'm not sure how available the middle was, but again, after 20 in the business end of the set, you got to find your big gun.
Now Maddie Kingdon Rischel. There's Montano off the soft block. Kept alive by Briseño and JT. Kingdon Rischel dug by Pinoy. Fairbanks went for the dump. Dug by Briseño. Thompson off speed. Peanut Pinoy was there. Fairbanks backs at Montano again. Big swing. Got dug by Kingdon Rischel. Merzick into the block of, that was the setter, Rachel Fairbanks, and we're back even again.
Yeah, long rally. That set was a little bit tight. I'm not sure if Rochelle thought it was going to be that tight. Yeah, I don't think she had an opportunity to tip over Onye. We talked about how vertical she is as a player.
Can Atlanta get a lead? Alanko trying to get her team back to set point. A Fabu with the block, but out of bounds. The kill for Thompson. 4th set point for Lovb Houston.
Yeah, great set to her in the back row. Runs that bick in the middle of the court, which means you're not going to get a whole lot of pinch block or help. It's going to be one-on-one. A lot of court to hit into for Jordan Thompson there.
It happened quickly. Ofebu slams one off of Thompson, and then let's see what happened here.
Are they going to call a replay here?
JT got absolutely blasted by that ball. And we certainly hope that She's okay. Nice to see her with a smile on her face.
Yeah, that right back defense is such a tough place to be. You get those gap sets to the middles with no blocker help. You're about the 13-foot line.
Oof.
Well, at least it was upper forehead. If that was 3 inches lower, that could have been much worse.
Could have been bad.
I can't tell if they're calling a replay.
Atlanta is challenging. Each team gets 2 challenges per set. If you win it, you get to keep it. They usually get resolved quickly because of the Hawkeye technology and the 40 cameras courtside.
I'm not sure what they're challenging. If they're calling a replay because the athlete was down, my question is, was the ball really still in play? It was such a bang-bang play after it hit Jordan that it kind of ended itself. So I'm not sure her being up or down would have affected that.
Right. So for the moment, 26-25 Houston. The ball hit the antenna, so it's Atlanta's point, and we're even at 26.
Yeah, there it is.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's fair. You'd hate to see Atlanta make this comeback all the way up and tie it up, to then have a replay on the technicality of that athlete going down in such a quick play.
Mm-hmm. Mackenzie Adams coming over just to make sure. If you're Houston, what do you do here?
Side out.
A chance to take the lead. LOVB puts it down. And their first lead, Atlanta 27-26. They will have set point after setting aside 4 for Houston.
Earlier we talked about Jordan, the angle she attacks from. If that middle blocker wanted to touch Onye's hit there, she would have been 3 feet to the right.
Briseño's pass is good. Gotta have it. And Merzick evens it back up at 27. 5th set point coming up. We're even at 27. Houston hopes to put themselves in a position for their 5th set point. And Kaiser Alanko will serve. Montano finds a seam in the block.
That is a fantastic swing. Set was a little bit off for her to be able to step close to that ball and just blast high seam. Fantastic swing. And look for Houston to target Hudson now. Looks like he's having some passing issues.
Montano with 8 kills, hitting .610. Good pass that time. Merzick off the soft block, covered up by Houston. They go to JT. And you hit Lashup.
When I was a kid, I would keep watching those over and over and over, and they just have access to so many amazing athletes right at their fingertips these days.
And that is at the heart of what League One volleyball does. Love clubs, 99 locations, well over 2,000 junior teams around the country. Volleyball, the fastest growing sport in the country. And League One volleyball has the #1 youth volleyball business in the U.S. And many of those players get to train with the pros. Merzick dug by Pinoy, tied to the net. Sent over by LOVB, diving play by Briseño. Here comes JT. Covered up by Jasmine White. Back row attack, Kingdon Rischel. Overhand dig by Pinoy. And Montano finds a way to get it done.
Well, Tanya's having herself a night. That's her 10th kill on 15 swings. Just unbelievable. Even that first set, Atlanta actually hit 48% to Houston's 30. It was just all the service errors. They outplayed them in a lot of ways. We just didn't see it because of the serving errors.
Yeah, Houston's first 8 points, 6 of them came on Atlanta service errors. And they had just won the remainder of the set. Alanko teeing up Merzick, dug by Peanut Pinoy. The tie libero. There's a dig by Kingdon Rischel off Montano. Good coverage by Briseño. Read that well. Thompson and Montano couldn't dig that one. JT evens it up at a point apiece.
Yeah, that swing that Jordan makes, you're really not stopping it. That's that go-to. She's blown up, I think, 3 or 4 balls in that sharp cross court.
How tough is it for Houston to forget that first set when they seemingly had it wrapped up but lost it?
it's hard. Again, it's the disappointment. You can play bad volleyball and win, but to be disappointed, you had it done, you had a 9-point lead, and then all of a sudden it's over.
Jordan Thompson, Jasmine White on the block. Looked like White got a hand on it.
Yeah, it's kind of a funky location, funky connection. I think Onye can normally hit that ball if she needs to.
Montano, dug by Thompson, who gets back into position quickly. Back row attack by Jess Merzick. Off the block and out of bounds.
Yeah, nice use of the back row attack. We see that a lot in this day and age as far as if you see Jordan Thompson running across to get an approach because she was in helping blocking. Without that approach, you need the back row to take care of what Jordan can't swing.
Good pass by Hudson. Montano from the left pin. Pancake by Thompson and Kingdon Rischel. Free ball coming for Fairbanks. Rachel goes to Montano. Blocked by White. 2 blocks this set.
Great block, but I don't like that choice. You got Onye in a free ball situation in the middle of the court with no pin blocker help. She's going to put that ball away 9 out of 10 times.
Well, we'll see if Atlanta learns their lesson on that when presented with the next opportunity. Overpass by Pinoy. Kingdon Rischel off the block and out of bounds. 5-1 Houston.
Yeah, obviously we talked a lot about the service issues for Atlanta in set 1. I think the passing is starting to look just as dicey. They've gotten a lot of 0 passes, some aces. Here's a rotation where Hudson's passing next to McKenzie.
Each pass rated from 0 to 4. Hudson off the block and out of bounds. Side out Atlanta. 5-2 Houston. So
they can do anything with a 3.
That would be a good pass by Pinoy, and resulting in a kill for Mac Adams. So much of this comes down to serve and pass.
Serve and pass from ages 12 all the way to League One volleyball. You just want to make it easy, especially with these offenses are so crisp, so precise. Anyone in a 3-pass situation is going to score 70% of the time. You got to serve tough, get them out of system, so maybe your blocker does have a chance to close now and maybe get a quality touch.
7-3 Houston, big side for JT who sends it away. Adams' pass is a good one, and Yehilasheva, another thunder strike toward Jordan Thompson. This time it didn't get her in the head.
Yeah, again, and that gaps it in between those 2 blockers. It's the middle blocker either has to reach to try to stop it, but if you go front it, then Montanya's going to be one-on-one behind.
Yehilasheva played for her native Czechia last summer at the Worlds in Thailand. Bottom dropped out of that one from Montano, but not fast enough. Service air. It's 8-4 Houston. But you're okay with that, right?
Yeah. It's fine. It wasn't a bad error. It missed by a little. The passer still had to make a decision on whether they wanted to touch it or not.
Overpass. Ajiti couldn't put it down. Good work by the setter Fairbanks. Swing by Merzick off the soft block. Hudson there for the dig. Back set. Yehilasheva on the slide. Covered up by Montano. This time Adams off speed and pancake effort by Thompson. Mac Adams, creative play.
Yeah, and that's that thing about setting outside against Kaisa Alanko. As a defender, you need to stay back because Adams has the ability to go over the top of this block. So Jordan's got to stay deep. Now that tip's wide open over the top. If it's a bigger blocker in front, the tip's got to go higher. You got a chance to run it down.
The veteran Adams knew what she was doing. 12th year pro. The spinner. Good pass by Merzick. Merzick with the swing. Merzick going high hands and got him.
Yeah, that's a lucky swing. It goes in their favor, but trying to find high hands on a set that drifts to 8 or 9 feet off, there's some luck involved. And she may have tried to swing lower too, we don't know. But you're definitely not purposefully trying to find, a tiny touch off the top of the block on something that far.
9-5.
Challenging it maybe.
So Atlanta challenging whether or not there was a touch. Point's going to stay with Houston.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That ball goes right over the top here. I don't believe there's a touch. It's almost impossible to find high hands from 8 or 9 feet off.
Paulo Coco doesn't like it. Let's have a look.
Yeah, that's no touch.
We're 9-5 Houston. Hudson's pass, a good one, and Fairbanks went for the dump. That's her 22nd kill this year, #1 among Leawood volleyball setters.
Yeah, beautiful pass. Not only location, we talked about getting location. That pass had height to it, so the setter can create rhythm and flow in her offense. The last couple were a little bit fast.
Good work out of the pinball machine, and the kill for Merzick. How about that? From Thompson to Alanko quickly, and just kind of worked out.
Yeah, and, anything out of this, as long as it's tight enough to go high hands, fine touches, she was able to snap that over the top and down. But much easier from 2 feet off as opposed to 9.
Atlanta out of system.
Tight.
And right atop the net, Thompson there. 11-6 Houston.
Yeah, Hudson's definitely becoming their target, not only because she's front row, but I just think she's had a little bit of a struggle lately.
Good pass by Adams. Montano out of the back row. Down the line, side out Atlanta. 11-7 Houston.
Yeah, beautiful set, beautiful swing. Long distance, so that middle blocker has to go so far to catch up. Either line's open, seam was open. And Montano's doing a great job of just putting balls away.
Merzick's pass is a good one. She's had some struggles with that this year, and it results in a kill. Houston leading 12-7. They had the first set in hand, but they let it get away. A 5-point lead in the second. Back to the Fort Bend County epicenter in a moment. 470. Merzick serve. They target Hudson again. And Afebu comes up with a kill on the quick. Side out Atlanta, 12-8 Houston.
Yeah, and that's what last weekend looked like a lot. Good quality pass, middle of the court, and Afebu just hitting with amazing range.
Hudson, who had that pass with the serve there. Thompson off the block, covered up by Briseño. Off speed by Kingdon Reschel. Maddie getting it done.
Beautiful read. She sees the line digger coming up to get tipped. She pushes that into the middle of the court. Such a hard ball for that line digger to run up and have to cut into the court to cover that dig.
Fascinating person. Played against you when she was with Arizona. You were at UCLA. Got to reconnect with her head coach Dave Rubio at Athletes Unlimited when he coached there last year. Said she really enjoyed that. Dug by Alanko, the set by Merzick. Kingdon Reschel off the block, covered up by Alanko. Again, Merzick with the set. Here comes JT, who tools the block.
Nice job by Merzick there. 2 quality sets. So ball out to Reschel on the outside, gets to recycle, get another opportunity. Then you take it over to Jordan, gets a score on that second chance.
Holding a couple of fingers behind her back. Is that a blocking scheme?
It's either scheme, it's either she's blocking angle, or if there's a scheme, it's hard because each team has a different hand system.
Igidi over the top.
God, I would love to see that one again. That was such an amazing move by Igidi. She dove to her left 3 feet, made a giant move. So watch how far left. Well, that's after the play. But her block against Onye, she fronted her and then dove 3 feet to her left to get that soft touch. Amazing.
Timeout taken by Atlanta. Here we are again. Houston had a big lead in the first set, which they let get away. They had 5 set points, and they ended up losing the set. And now they're behind 15-8. So Paulo Coco talking to his team, kind of a similar story. Maybe Atlanta has them right where they want them.
Well, you know what? The whole talk we had in set 1 was serve pass. They made all these errors. Right now I'm looking at the receptions, and because Atlanta has to serve easy right now, or they did to get back in the match, the libero for Houston has passed 12 balls. That's more than anybody. Whereas the libero for Atlanta has only passed 2. So they're doing a great job of sending all their serves to Adams and Hudson. Hudson's passed 20 balls, and libero only 2. I think Coco right there, I don't know how much technical information he's giving them or just trying to settle them back into the match, reminding them like, hey, we were down in the first set before. Probably just saying, hey, let's just play our game.
Adams' positive pass percentage, 56%. Remember, league average is 48.9%. Ofebu gets it done. Side out Atlanta, 15-9. Meanwhile, Eva Hudson passing at 40%. She's received serve 20 times. Adams, 14. And as you mentioned, Peanut Pinoy, the libero, only 2. Ofebu comes out.
I love the chess game going on between Igidi and Ofebu right now. Igidi dove left to get a touch last time. Now she's diving right. It's just back and forth chess game.
Almost like a goalkeeper in soccer on a penalty kick.
Or it's like Princess Bride. I know that you know that I know.
Yes.
That you know that I want.
Right. Attack
again,
there for Igidi.
And you can dive left, and if she hits right, who cares? But you have to make a giant guess, because if you go straight up, they're going to score.
Out of system here. Kingdon Rachel finds a way to get it done anyway. Talk about better in the ball.
Yeah, look, it's a safe swing. I don't know if she's trying to kill that ball. It's almost like it's the second time it's happened tonight where it's out of system. And I don't know if Atlanta's system is in the right place. It's 2 easy kills of just chopping the ball around the middle of the inside blocker.
16-10 Houston. And Jordan Thompson with an ace.
Houston serving fantastic right now. They're serving down the line in this sliver of between the sideline and maybe 2 or 3 feet in from the sideline. Such a tough ball to pass.
JT's 4th ace this year against 14 service errors. Adams, another good pass, and she goes cross body with a kill. So the pass, the kill for Mackenzie Adams.
Yeah, nice job to use the matchup. You got Adams on Kaizel Lanko on the outside. You got a huge height advantage. You set that ball every time. You get a small setter. She's going to have a huge height differential. She showed she can kill over the top hard. She can tip over the top. Now just take advantage of that setter when she's front row.
Now Montagna will serve with her team down by 6.
Right to the libero.
On the slide, Igidi. Amber Igidi after a good pass from Briseño, the libero.
Yeah, libero's passing too many balls, and it's different for jump servers because she may not have a great line-to-line serve. So a lot of times you tell your jump servers just hit your best serve. But in that rotation where libero has to pass right back, you have 20 feet of court to find somebody else, and they didn't.
LMA Powell. Carly DeHogue, side out Atlanta. DeHogue getting a chance to play on the dub sub with Tessa Grubbs out for the year with an injury.
Yeah, luckily with that rule change that you can leave as soon as the server tosses the ball, she's able to run from the left front all the way across the court. Otherwise, lefty on the left's pretty hard to score.
Do you like that rule?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah. Too strong for Adams. 19-13 Houston.
You know, not only the toss for the attackers moving, but you've seen some passer shifts. As soon as the ball gets tossed, sometimes passers will shift where they're standing.
Better passer might pinch over a little bit.
Yep.
Nagrati, excellent passer. Off speed by DeHogue. Pancake by Alanko. Wrist away by Merzic. Have a look at this by...
Great off-blocker move right there. And smart choice. You got someone new in the match. You get Julia Sangiacomo left front for Atlanta, and the attacker just hit that ball to her in off-blocker position.
So Sangiacomo coming in, we might say with the set out of hand, but we thought the previous set was out of hand, and it wasn't. And Atlanta is challenging whether or not the ball touched the floor on the pancake by Alanko.
Looks good.
If any part of the ball touches the floor, then it's down. Hard to tell.
Yeah, you can't see from that angle because it would have been on her pinky side if it hit the floor. Unless they have a pinky side camera angle, they're going to have to leave it however it was called.
And the point stays with Houston. Paulo Coco, long time assistant coach, or what they say in Brazil, second coach for the Brazilian national team. Won Olympic gold in 2008 and 2012, silver in Tokyo 2021. And service error for Houston. Plenty of breathing room, 2013.
Is that proof that it was down? Is that the ball never lies argument right there?
I guess so, yeah. Ball don't lie.
You know, I think we're in the same talk we had in set one of Atlanta. Hey, let's not expect to win this. Let's just keep playing our game. And maybe they're already looking for the third set to start. But I am impressed that Houston was able to bounce back after that disappointing first set loss and come back and really jump out to an early lead again.
21-13. Kazalanko, the setter, with the serve. DeHoog, big left arm off the soft block of White, covered up by JT. Swing by Merzick, and a kill for Merzick.
Yeah, there's so many little parts of this. So DeHoog tips this ball, takes Jordan out of the play. So Jordan Thompson can't hit, but Atlanta's left front blocker stayed out there, just doing nothing, standing there. She could have come in the middle of the court and taken advantage of more blockers on the two attackers.
6 kills for Merzick, hitting .330. And Onye Afebu gets one back for Atlanta.
And again, very impressed with Houston's serving strategy. They're serving the front row outside hitter, San Giacomo. She has to come up and pass, doesn't get a full approach, and they can really focus on some other people. So Houston's job of quality of serve location is far superior to Atlanta's right now.
Fairbanks and Montano back in. DeHoog and Powell out. And Fairbanks, the setter, serves. Along with the bump set, well off the net. Merzick, hard angle attack. Maybe trying to do too much, went wide.
That bumps it a little off. And again, you know, they served the libero when she was in the right back. So I'm trying to figure out, maybe it's something they're trying to do. I don't quite understand it. But Coach Coco is definitely smarter than I am, so maybe it's something they want to see. The only thing I can think of is a setter running across the net. The pass can be coming from her back, basically.
Back set to JT. She knew exactly what to do against San Giacomo. 23-15 Houston. Rich Burke along with Michael Seeley, who's the head coach for UCLA when they won the national title in 2011. One of only 19 people ever to be a head coach of a women's NCAA D1 title team. Montano with the swing, dug by Merzick. Don't count yourself out too much there, Michael. Free ball coming here.
Go middle, bad pass.
Yeah, bad pass by Pinoy. And Thompson takes advantage. Set point, Houston.
Yeah, that attention to details. You did something great to earn that free ball back. You just got to take care of that.
And Pinoy, I'm sure not happy about that one. Typically would not let something like that happen. Short serve. San Giacomo off the block and out of bounds. Second set point coming up for Houston. They let 5 get away in that first set. They have a ton more breathing room here, and San Giacomo will serve.
Yeah, great job by Onye to pass that ball to allow San Giacomo to get a full approach. Good job taking care of those small details.
Julia, the second-year pro out of Northwestern, also played at Santa Clara. It's just her 10th serve this year. Kingdon Rischel kept alive nicely by Houston. They say the ball was down. He kept alive by Atlanta, and they can't believe it. And a yellow card is coming out. Is that against Fairbanks?
Or coach.
Or Paulo Coco?
I think it could be Coco.
So Houston takes the second set, 25-16, after having Atlanta storm from behind to win the first. 5th consecutive start for Afebu. Played collegiately at UC Irvine, then Oregon, second-year pro. Basically has taken the job away from Tia Jemerson, who played for Team USA last summer. Polanco, crossbody by Jasmine White, starting in place of Rafaela Foley. Hudson off the soft block, dug by Kingdon Rischel. There's Jess Merzick, diving dig by Adams. Jimerson is into the match right now. That's over the top. Jimerson and Ofebu in the match at the same time with Yehelasheva out. There's Merzick, third swing of the rally. Finds a seam in the block.
Houston's outside is doing a great job of when they can score, they'll take a swing. That time it's over your shoulder, a little bit off, and just nice soft swing into the block. She could have been looking for a recycle that her team could have covered it, and it just snuck through the block. Like we said earlier, blocking is not an exact science.
And worked out for him. She's hitting .290 in this one. Earlier this year, Sanja Tomasevic told me that Jess had been overthinking things a bit. She cares so much. But she's just kind of letting it flow right now.
Yeah, you get to this level, and instead of having to be the go-to at your college team, or even if you go overseas, you're expected to be the go-to. You just need to be a role player here. You're one of 6 people.
Point to Atlanta. That was an official review. And now Montano will serve for Lovb Atlanta. Right over the top of the tape, Polanco, another pancake to keep it alive. Bump set Pinoy. Hudson hard angle attack, and Kingdon Rischel couldn't dig that one.
Beautiful out of system play by Hudson there. Pancake dig, so that hitter's not available. It's a bump set coming in. Does a good job of tucking it underneath that middle blocker. Good vision.
Led Kentucky to the national title match against Texas A&M this year. And now facing as a teammate of a couple of the Texas A&M players.
This is new territory. We got Atlanta doubling them up early.
Pardon me, Walk and Lednicki on the other side of the net, so not in the match right now, but Hudson squaring off against those 2 players that she played against in the national title match that time.
And again, that's on Pinoy not controlling that first dig. Rischel had a bad swing opportunity, just chipped it in play, and Pinoy dug it over the net to give them another swing chance.
Jasmine White serve. Back row attack, dug by White. Thompson off speed. Pancake by Pinoy, but not enough. 5-3 Atlanta.
That's what makes Jordan so dangerous in this situation, because we know she can go over the top and attack, so the defenders stay super deep in perimeter. So her tips coming from high altitude are just right over the top of the block. And if you're devoting someone to dig it, you got one less person digging the hard driven.
Tia Jimerson getting in the act. Hadn't played much the last few matches. Jimerson.
Yeah, earlier in the year, she started the first 4, not the last 4, and they set her enough to be a threat. So I'd like to see them keep doing that tonight.
Last 5 matches, only 9 swings. Thompson pushes one that gets dug by Hudson. Montano out of the back row. Finds a way to get it done. 6-3 Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta's got a little spark here.
They stormed from behind to win that first set, 29-27. Houston had 5 set points in that one. Talk about better in the ball. Out of system, Jordan Thompson.
Yeah, I guarantee she wasn't thinking, hey, I'm going to kill this ball. Just chipped it into play, right into the recycled donut of the court. Setter just didn't make a play on that. This could look like Atlanta coming out like we talked about set 1 if they had gotten beaten big to come back and flush it quick and get to start over. That's what it looks like now.
Adams dug by Briseño. Back set, Thompson. After jumping, she was coming down. Sent it over with 2 hands. Back row attack by Hudson goes long.
I don't love that choice. Libero, middle of the court, bumping it over your head. It's just a weird angle because now this pipe hitter's attacking the ball coming from over their right shoulder. Just put that high and tight to Adams in the front row. Let her swipe her, let her recycle it, get a real swing.
Pass tight to the net. Adams had the pass and has the kill. Adams continues to pass it well. Positive pass percentage, 55%.
And that's kind of her number on the year. So she's shown she can be a really consistent passer. I think Houston has to keep that ball on Hudson.
Fourth best in the league. Positive pass percentage. Overpass that time. Kingdon Rischel off the block, covered up by Merzick. Second swing of the rally for Maddie, dug by Jimerson. Overdig, Igidi off the block, covered up, kept alive by Alonco. And kind of a reverse layup there on the dump for Rachel Fairbanks. Second time she's done that in this match.
Nice to be a tall, physical setter. I think that pass forced her to dump. She almost had to. Ball looked like he got passed pretty flat, like it was going to go over. So Fairbanks did a good job of cutting it off and taking it to open court.
Rachel Fairbanks last year was not really planning on playing pro volleyball in the United States, but when Marta Bakis went down for Atlanta 5 days before the first match, they called Fairbanks and she came in and stole the job. Alonco went for the dump, dug by Montano. Lunging play by Thompson. She's out of the play. Kingdon Rischel going for the high hands and got him.
Yeah, perfect situation to go find high flat hands. It's a little bit out of system where the blockers are able to close. You got four big hands in front of you. She's just so.
Hard angle attack by Merzick. 8-7 Atlanta.
And goes back to just quality free ball pass. You get right back in the system. I think Atlanta has had some of those same opportunities. Didn't take care of that free ball situation, put more stress on their transition offense.
8 kills for Jess Merzick, 20 swings, hitting .300. Montano. Briseño with a dig, top of the net. Merzick sends it over. Lunging play by Adams. Back row attack by Hudson. Sends it over with two hands, tight to the net. Montano keeps it alive. Lots of options for Alonco. And Jordan Thompson, always a good option.
Notice that's the reason you don't chip balls into play. You don't arm swing that ball because you're not going to score it. And all you did was give a free ball to middle back. If she just set that ball over, she could have set that to Thompson, gotten her out of the play. So if you're not going to score it, you got to recycle that ball. Standing on the ground chipping in doesn't do you any good.
So if you're not going to score it, take their best player out of the play.
Recycle it. You can take, put it on the setter, so you have an out-of-system setter. Put it on their best attack. They can't get an approach. It's like when you watch quality billiards players, if they don't have a shot, they're hiding the ball somewhere else.
Right.
The next guy can't get a shot.
Good analogy.
That's where you get all these rallies with tip after tip after tip because they're just playing it until they can get a swing.
Lefebvre on the slide. Diving dig by Briseño. Here comes JT. Big swing, big kill. 10-8 Houston.
Yeah, beautiful tip right here. And obviously, because those hitters aren't available, it has to go backside. Blockers, see, Lefebvre should have seen that both hitters were down. Yet she's still standing in the middle of the court. As soon as both hitters are gone, release. You know it's going to Jordan. You don't need to stand in the middle court. You got to read the situation and understand what's going to come next. That's going to come with experience.
Take a long time to learn something like that.
Oh, for sure.
Merzick, dug by Hudson, kept alive by Montano.
There it is. Set it over. Now it's out of system.
Merzick, diving dig by Hudson. Adams covers it up herself off the block. Montano gets it done, side out Atlanta, 10-9 Houston.
There you see the difference. You see Adams taking swings, tips, control until they finally get an opportunity to score. You know, it's playing chess versus checkers. But again, it's one of those things you can't really teach someone the sense that they're going to get it until they've played 100 professional matches.
You can't go for the big play if you don't have it.
No.
Merzick on the tip. There's Hudson out of the back row, dug by Briseño. Here comes JT again. Finds a seam of the block from the back row.
Yeah, and it's the tip that created that for Jordan 2 plays later. You took 2 attackers out. They had to set back row. Okay, we're going to control that dig easily, and now we get a real swing coming back. So the patience to play that game.
Amber Igidi will serve. Played for Team USA, Volleyball Nations League, and the Worlds last summer, and she has an ace. 12-9 Houston. Houston thought they had the first set won. They didn't. They won the second, and they're on a 7-1 run here at a 12-9 lead in the third.
Have to. You know, I said find the middle when you can. A lot of these scramble rallies where teams are out of system, she's going to get a lot of those sets. So for me to say that, oh, you can't set her as much, you need to set her as much, but it's find the middles when you can.
Teams know they're going to her, and
it doesn't matter.
Can't stop her.
She's too physical.
Service error for Igidi, 12-10 Houston. Jordan Thompson said that she learned a lesson last year. In the fall, she had taken some time off. She said she learned that 2 months isn't enough time to ramp up, and she got up to a slow start in the League One volleyball season. Well, she was the champion of Athletes Unlimited. Another kill for JT on cue. And so she came into this season ready to go.
Yeah, definitely ready. You know, she's had killed in matches, she's got kills of 24, 23, a couple 22s. There's only been 1 match all year she wasn't double-digit kills. Now they're using her out of the back row in the BIC, the D-ball, all over the place.
She's got 16 kills in this one. Atlanta needs it, and Ofebu finds a way. 13-11 Houston.
Smart play. You don't need to dent the floor with that. She's up in the middle. There's no help. Has the fortitude to look across the net, see one-on-one, and just throw that ball into Area 1 defense.
And now she'll serve. What a good pass by Briseño. Merzic with a kill. Briseño with an excellent pass.
Yeah, and here I was blaming the Atlanta servers, and it's obviously part of their game plan. They want to go after Briseño. And I'm thinking some of it is because she's in rotation 1 as the setter's running across the net. It's kind of hard to get your eyeballs on as a setter.
Briseño positive pass percentage tonight of 32%. Montano off the soft block. There was Merzic. Bump set for Alonco. Kingdon Rischel, and Pinoy couldn't dig it. 15-11 Houston.
There's nothing about that swing that tells me Rischel's trying to get a kill. She's 8 feet off the net. She's chipping across court, perfectly channeled to Pinoy, who's now missed 4 or 5 easy digs right to her.
Yeah, unlike her. 9 kills for Kingdon Rischel, hitting .400. San Giacomo dug by Briseño. Kingdon Rischel off speed. Fairbanks went for the pancake, kept alive by San Giacomo. And Atlanta gets a much needed side out.
Yeah, unlucky for Houston. Rochelle does a great job of tipping it across to where the line digger coming up to get the tip can't get it. Forces her to just bang, bang play that ends up on top of the tape for a dirty kill, as we like to call it.
A dirty kill.
The dirty kill.
Service error for Montano.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how often Jimerson goes behind setter or how efficient she can be. I think Jilahasheva was kind of the M1 when she was in last time.
There's Montano out of the back row. 16-13, side out Atlanta.
And that's the beauty of women's volleyball is the slide is so effective and so fast that left front blocker has to leave to go with it. So when you do set the BIC in the back row, there's a giant channel that opens up because that left front blocker has to be gone.
Thompson, cross body.
Yeah, that's her A1 swing. That's the one, so sharp, so cross court, that right front blocker. It's so much pressure and it gets on them so quick. And like we talked about earlier, if you're going to stop that swing, you got to bring the block so far in. So watch how far, that blocker's not even close. It's 5 feet to her right. There's no way to touch that.
Logan Lednicki back in as Thompson comes out in the dub sub. Maddie walk in, she will serve. Back row attack by Montano goes wide, 18-13, Houston. Now you say Jordan Thompson and Alexa Gray are the 2 players in this league that can jump high enough that they're so hard to stop.
Yeah, those are the two pins that are so big and physical that even if they have two blockers in front, they can go high over the top down in the court. A lot of people can swing high flat. From what I've seen in video, they're the two that look like they're going to score even when there's perfect forehands in front of them. And they both scored over 45% kill percentage, which is 10 to 12 points higher than most pins.
Right. Timeout taken by Paulo Coco and Atlanta. Here we are again. Atlanta trailing big as we hit the late stages of a set. In set one, they were able to come from behind and win it despite 5 set points for Houston. And then Houston got the lead and kept it in the second.
You know, besides the comeback in one, nothing's really gone right for them. So I'm not sure even his frustration level. You got new players on the court. I'm sure he's just trying to keep, you know, the troops connected and keep fighting. But it definitely doesn't look like they're clicking how they would like to. Double sub here.
Fairbanks and Montano out. Powell and DeHogue in. There's Carly DeHogue. Carly DeHogue has something in common with Jordan Poulter. Learning to play golf.
Oof. Good luck. I'm 22 years in. I'm still horrible.
I think Jordan's a little further along than Carly is.
It made me a way better coach, though.
Patience?
Patience. You're working with an athlete and you're so frustrated because they're not doing the one thing you ask. Yet you go to the golf course and you can't do the one thing you're thinking about.
Yeah, good connection on your part. Tia Jemerson serve. Pasinio's pass on the money. Lots of options. Kingdon Rishel dug by Adams. Set by Jemerson. Adams off the soft block. Walk was there. Bump set Briseño. Kingdon Rishel again going high hands and didn't get him.
Yeah, just missed. I almost looked like one of the blockers pulled their hands. I can't say that to be absolutely true. But
how often does that happen?
Sometimes. Not too often, because every now and then your backcourt can get peppered.
Can you read that the set is behind the hitter's head, knowing that they might have to go high hands?
Yeah, I think when in a bad situation, if you can recognize and just reach low and over to get them smaller surface area to attack. So many times in a high ball, you reach up.
Maddie Kingdon Rishel goes wide. Second recent attack error for her. And Atlanta creeping back into it. 3 consecutive points. It's 18-16 since their timeout.
That's her first bad error of the night. That's the first time she hasn't found the court in those situations where she can't score and just recycled.
And Igidi gets the side out for Houston. 19-16.
And again, serving Briseño every ball.
Maddie Kingdon Rishel will serve. If you're in Paulo Coco's shoes, what do you tell Atlanta right now?
Well, you know, when you're in that double sub, you're not going to win the match in a double sub, but it's just getting through, trying to maintain this 2 or 3 point cushion. So they did their job. They got through the front row. They're still 2 points down. But again, you don't throw that double sub in thinking they're going to light the world on fire and score 8 points while they're in there.
Third kill in 7 swings for Carly DeHogue. She'd only played 4 sets coming in. There's Beatrice Negrati, who's in the match as a DS for Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm sure, you know, Coach Coco is also just talking about we can only be us, do our thing. It was enough to come back in set 1. You're not going to reinvent some new, you know, fancy game plan. You're not going to try to hit things you normally don't hit. Just can we be the best version of ourselves?
Atlanta has Montano, Adams, Ofebu in the front row.
Yeah, with Ofebu and Adams in the front row and the setter from Houston, they got a good opportunity to point score. And efficiency-wise, they have one of the lower point scoring efficiencies. They're down at only hitting 153 in transition, whereas Houston's 270.
Out of system, here comes Merzick. Merzick going for the hands or the back line, didn't get either.
Yeah.
Atlanta back within 1.
She's taking that swing high over the top, just trying to roll it into area 6, which isn't a horrible thing. But again, if you have a bad situation, if you tip to setter there, they're going to be out of system. You got a chance to score on the recycle side.
Fairbanks. Passed by Merzick. Out of system. Merzick with the swing.
Beautiful set.
And yet Atlanta has come from behind again. They trailed this one 18-13.
Yeah, that's a much better error than the one before, where it was a bad situation. She misses over the top and out. That's a green light situation. The set's perfect. She can step close to it, take a good aggressive swing. So green light error you got to be okay with. It's the yellow light, like this is medium, I don't like this. That's where the recycle comes into play.
The timeout taken by Sanya Tomasevic, and Atlanta's on a 6-1 run. If you're Houston, how do you avoid thinking, here we go again?
Yeah, that's a challenge. That's a fresh wound that may not have healed yet. They've done a great job in sets 1 and 2 of coming out fast. They even built a great cushion here, but it becomes that self-fulfilling prophecy. When you've given up 7-point leads 3 times now, or whatever that is, that's hard. You're thinking about it. And you got Merzick makes 2 errors in a row. What's her mentality on the next swing, especially in a not great situation?
There is Jess Merzick. Won the Natty with Penn State 14 months ago. Most outstanding player of the 2024 NCAA tournament.
And that's my biggest hope with this league, is that these athletes that are these 4-time All-Americans, national champions, understand you're going back to kindergarten. Like, you're a freshman again.
Right.
So not carry those expectations of who and what you were into those results right away.
The best players in college, half the roster on every team is as good as them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jordan Thompson gets a critical kill and a side out for Houston.
Over the top deep corner. You know who plays defense there? Nobody. No chance.
See how much pressure Igidi can put on with her serve. Pinoy's pass is a good one. Fairbanks. Ofebu. Onye Ofebu. Side out Atlanta. We're even at 20.
Yeah, beautiful pass. Not only end location, but the ball had some arc on it. There's been some passes tonight that have gone to setter, but were pretty quick. Because it's high enough, it lets Onye get an approach. And they just run that gap set into that seam between blockers.
9 kills for Ofebu, hitting .570. Just 1 attack error and 14 swings. Mackenzie Adams will serve for Atlanta. Has her fair share of service aces, and yet opponents are in system when she serves 51% of the time. Not in system here. JT. Atlanta can go ahead here. They trail by 5, and Ofebu gets it done. 21-20 Atlanta.
Good
Isn't
quality.
this something?
Yeah, it didn't have to be a perfect dig. You dig it high up in the air. We talked about Pinoy missing some digs earlier. Just pop it up. Setter gets her feet there. Now we can run middle from, she's 9 feet off the net. So you didn't need a perfect dig. Let's just get it high enough for setter to get her hands on it, and we'll run transition offense.
A good message. You do not have to be perfect.
Just get it high and let the setter do her job.
Actually go up by 2 here. Montano, little wrist away. 22-20 Atlanta. And they're running.
And they have a situation where you're setting the ball over, but you set it to the middle back. So everyone has an approach. If you'd gone over the setter behind her, she's not getting her hands on that ball to run it. So the chances, when the times you're going to recycle, you got to be better about quality location to affect their ability to come back at you.
Adams targeting Kingdon Rischel. Better pass that time. Jess Merzick. Dug by Negrati. Montano, 23-20 Atlanta. They're on a 10-2 run.
Yeah, we got some of that old self-fulfilling prophecy. This is the second or third time of losing the big runs, and Atlanta's just been patient. They're just doing their thing. They're not serving tough. So many matches I've watched was about service pressure. This is more or less a roll shot in.
Thompson. Sangiacomo, crossbody, dug by Kingdon Rischel. Jess Merzick, they need it. They don't get it. It is set point Atlanta.
Unbelievable. And again, Mackenzie
And Houston going to challenge whether or not there was a touch at the net on the swing by Merzik.
No fingers. So this is the hard one because you're not going to see a finger move. Sometimes you can see the ball rotating differently if it hits the side of a hand or a forearm. But you're not going to get that. I think that ball's out, and that's a set point.
There have been issues with. Yeah, I see the finger moving there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at Ofebu's right hand from the angle. That's a good touch.
So challenge successful. 23-21. Montano finds a seam in the block, and they get to set point anyway.
Yeah, Montano is such a physical attacker. Nice quality high set. She goes up high to swing. Doesn't maybe have as much range as Thompson's shown, but good, strong physical attacker.
When Tessa Grubbs went down back on February 7th, it was in the third set. They went on to win that third set and sweep the match 26-24, and then they won their last one. So without Grubbs, Montano has come in and filled her shoes quite well. Ofebu out, and it is Ofebu who serves. Merzik trying to better the ball.
Beautiful set.
Montano. Alanko and Houston have to have this one. Back row attack by Kingdon Rischel. He gets it done. It set aside the first set point for Atlanta.
And then again, that just shows the veteran move. Bad connection, bad timing. She's got to go left-handed, but knows the donut in the middle of the court is going to be the play.
And now Jess Merzik will serve. High on the platform is San Giacomo. Montano, dug by Merzik. They can get within one right here. Kingdon Rischel, dug by Pinoy. Dig on the dime. Back set. Montano tools the block. Atlanta takes the third. They were behind 18-13. Their second time, like the first set, they come from a big deficit to win it.
Yeah. Even when there are forehands, those balls are rattling through, but she swings high enough that she's not going to get stuff blocked. If she does get blocked, it's going to be high enough into the block that it's going to come flat. Her team's going to cover it, and they're going to run offense again.
Atlanta coming in here to Houston, facing a team in Lovb Houston that's won 6 consecutive matches after an 0-3 start. They have number 23 right there, Jordan Thompson, one of the best players in the world. And Paulo Coco's team leads 2-1. They trailed the first set 18-11, and we were eulogizing it. And later on, they trailed at 21-15. And they stormed from behind to win, overcoming 5 Houston set points.
They are moving from failure to failure without a loss of enthusiasm. You know, they haven't been disappointed once. They've played some bad volleyball at times, but there's no level of disappointment. They're just going, grinding, you know, chop wood, carry water.
Failure to failure without a loss of enthusiasm. Now, who said that?
I would say it was me, but it was Winston Churchill.
At least you knew the quote.
I did.
All right, you're Houston. You've let 2 sets in which you had big leads get away. They led 18-13 in the third. They led 18-11 in the first. How do you collect yourself?
It's hard to win playing disappointed volleyball. So on the surface, they may be saying, hey, no big deal, here we go. But there's definitely part of them that's frustrated that they should be driving home right now. You know, they should be 3-0 and out, and then you kind of give up these first 2 sets. Again, it's Atlanta. All Atlanta had to do was keep the ball in play and won those sets. There wasn't anything special, dynamic going on.
See a little smirk on Jimerson's face? I love that. And Rafaela Foley into the match.
Nice, and she's someone who's been underutilized this year. She hits for an amazing percentage, but only has 37 kills on 64 swings. I mean, there's opposite that'll get that in one night. She's played 8 matches and only has 60-something swings.
Best middle blocker in the 23-24 Champions League with Vero Valli Milano in Italy.
And what's funny, too, we talked about the young guns for Atlanta and how much they would need to step up. Maybe they're just too young to even worry about these losses and just keep grinding through.
No scar tissue.
Nope.
Maddie Kingdon-Rischel puts Houston up 3-2.
Yeah, good late move by Jimerson. Wasn't quite there and just kept her hands up. Got a good quality touch that maybe Pinoy could have touched.
Was that one in or out?
Looked in to me. So one thing Houston is executing so well is they're line-to-line serving to serve between the sideline and maybe 2 feet into the court. If I'm an Atlanta passer, I'm starting wide and working back in.
First service ace for Thompson. San Giacomo, second-year player out of Northwestern.
Yeah, you know, lucky kill. The good thing is she knows a small blocker in front of her. She has the blind swing, chops it down the line, just happens to go over the blocker and finds the court.
Kingdon-Rischel after a good pass by Jess Merzick.
Yeah, good smart swing. You see all these veterans that have all this experience and they just play within their means. They're not forcing anything. Just knowing, hey, this is the situation, my vision's not great, I'm high line chop.
Short serve on the other side, set by Jimerson, swing by Mackenzie Adams, and Mack comes up with a kill. 5-4 Houston.
That is a beautiful set. That's one of the things we always talk so much about hitters attacking and blocking. Everyone on that court's got to be a great out-of-system setter.
Igidi on the slide, covers things up herself. Merzick with that tie to the net. Point Atlanta.
I think Houston got it.
Oh, no, Houston got it. Okay. Atlanta thought it was them.
And that's just a good reminder why tight is better than off.
And we're going to have a challenge here. Even for the moment at 5. And immediately, Atlanta saying there was no touch. Earlier in the first couple of sets, the Hawkeye challenge system was having some issues, was down for a moment, but it has been back since the intermission.
Yeah, that's the angle right there. No touch.
Can we tell for sure, though?
Nothing in life, certainly. Just seems to be space right there.
Yes, there seems to be.
So if it's inconclusive, oh wow, final touch.
Challenge successful.
No, oh no touch. Got
no
it.
touch, yes.
I forgot who challenged.
Right. Well, Jimerson will serve. We're waiting the restart of play here. Very nearly an overpass. Merzick puts it down to the 45-degree angle. Good set by Alanko.
Yeah, beautiful set. The ball so tight to the net. Onye commits in the middle because 9 times out of 10, you know, setter could dump on that ball. So she had to be aggressive, keeping hands in front of setter. You just get a great one-on-one outside. They need more of those.
Houston by 1. Back row attack by Montano, high on the platform of Igidi. Options for Fairbanks. Miscommunication between Montano and Afebu, and it works out.
Unless they both touched it. The old yep, nope play.
Did it look like Afebu touched it along with Montano?
No, that's a point.
And we're even at 6. Fairbanks will serve back to rotation 1. Setter serving for Atlanta. Ace for Fairbanks.
Great serve.
Fifth service ace of the match.
And almost out of the Houston playbook. They're finally serving someone besides the libero. Good tight front row hitter, tight to the line.
Second service ace for Fairbanks. Targeting Merzick. Thompson. Dug by Sangiacomo off the net. Kept alive by Sangiacomo. And Afebu. Merzick crossbody.
Good job of creating the recycle. I am interested. Jordan Thompson twice now on a D-ball set. Goes to tip and throws it too deep into area 6. You're not going to overpower someone with that tip. It's about placement, not power. If she takes a little bit off, it puts her on the 10-foot line, it's a kill. But she's pushing it too hard.
Montano blocked by Foley. They were celebrating too soon. Houston thought it was down.
So you take that play right there where they thought it was down. You take the play where the two attackers ran into each other. It just adds to the frustration of this match for Houston right now.
Right.
Great stuff block.
Pinoy with the foot volley.
That's what they're claiming. Yeah.
Merzick now. She tools the block, gets one back for Houston. We're tied at 8.
Yeah, good, smart, solid swing. 8 feet off the net. You're not going to overpower. So nice chip into a pretty meaty part of the block. You're not going to risk the high finger miss.
Afebu back at her, blocked by Foley. Like what you've seen with the change to Foley?
Well, Foley was the best middle blocker in Champions League, and she's been the best blocker in Division I Italy, so that's what she's there for. And again, when you see her, watch this jump. So Afebu alone in the middle of the court, she jumps to her right and reaches right. So that 3 feet that ball would have crossed, she takes away by cutting off the angle. Now, Afebu's got to think about her attack. She's going to be thinking, like, I know, but you took me here last time. Do I need to hit somewhere else? And that could definitely impact her mentally.
A1 Italy, the longtime best league in the world. Montano with the wrist away. Side out Atlanta. We're tied at 9. This is the point in the first 3 sets where Houston took charge. Now, they let it get away in the first and third.
Yeah, Atlanta started off on a good lead in the last set. Them just keeping close here. Again, I'm just concerned about Houston's frustration level of how this match has gone when they were in control, what we thought for most of the match.
Service error, Afebu. Now Foley will serve. Opponents in system when she serves 48% of the time. That's right about league average. We're going to replay that.
Yeah, Atlanta really needs to take care of this. It's not a very difficult serve. It's pretty easy. You're in a 3-hitter rotation, so you got a bunch of offensive options right here. Whether it's only in the middle, Montano on the backside. So just take care of the pass first because it's not going to stress you that much.
Not a great pass from Sangiacomo, trying to better the ball. Dug by Rischel. Kingdon Rischel.
Beautiful cover.
Excellent coverage by Foley, and it results in a point for Houston.
Yeah, that's a beautiful dig because blockers got straight over, stuffed it straight down. If Foley didn't cover this, I wouldn't blame her because it's so far down. And actually, she's probably out of position playing that tight. Just worked out to her favor for sure. It's all that experience. She's playing chess in the back row.
Isn't that true? And Kingdon Rischel now with 13 kills, hitting .350. Foley's serve. Sangiacomo, and Kingdon Rischel couldn't dig that. Julia Sangiacomo put some heat on that.
Yeah, made the same swing twice in a row. Rischel was able to dig the first one. That second one just got on her a little bit quick. But beautiful, sharp cross court. That's a Jordan Larson cross court.
Larson loves doing that, also loves that inside set. Kingman Rischel, and Pinoy couldn't dig it. Sat out Houston. 12-10 Houston trying to force a fifth. 29% of their attacks. That's actually less than she typically is. Last time these two teams squared off, she was at 38%. Fairbanks went for the dump, would have been her third. Read well by Briseño. Kingman Rischel, overdig by San Giacomo. Alanco on the second ball took a hack at it, and Adams read it well. Montano off the soft block, dug by JT. That right tight to the net, we had the joust. Kingman Rischel. Fairbanks going to San Giacomo, diving dig by Merzick. Thompson out of the back row, puts it down. 13-10 Houston.
That was an important rally for both teams. Some great situations, some bad situations to recycle, but if the ball's going to cross the net, 6-7 times, it's important to finally get that swing. Just leaves a little low seam, good vision, doesn't have to go over the top when she sees that low seam available.
Now, can Atlanta avoid the 5, 6, 7-point deficits that they came from behind in the first and third sets?
Why? It's working for them.
San Giacomo off the block. Pinoy there. On the slide, Jemerson off the block and out of bounds.
Yeah, that's an important rotation to get out of. With San Giacomo on the outside, Jemerson going behind, which probably isn't her strength. If you don't get out of the rotation, Houston can run 2 or 3 more points in there. So it's really important to get out of that one when they did. Now you got Adams front row again.
San Giacomo had only 9 service attempts this year, and there is her second service ace of the season. And what a time for it.
And Briseño down the line. Beautiful serve. You got Briseño passing almost half the court, and that line becomes available.
Goes after her again. This time the pass is on the money. Back row attack by Thompson. Montano couldn't dig it. Houston by 2.
Yeah, good opportunity there. Pass gets pulled back. Middle can't really find a route, so use Thompson as an outlet there. And again, we talked about it all night. Even if you know they're going to set her, she's got so much range, it doesn't really matter.
Another veteran, Maddie Kingman Rischel serves. Mac Adams, wrist away there on the hard angle. Side out Atlanta, they're back within 1.
Yeah, really fast to the pin. It's almost like Adams commits to her approach early and had to actually slow down in the air to hit that ball. It's like they weren't quite in sync, and Adams just had to power through, slow down, and then pop it cross court.
Tia Jemerson to serve, getting more playing time than she has the last 4 matches. Back row attack by Thompson, and went wide. Attack error for JT. We're even at 14. This would be a remarkable win for Atlanta to come in here. Remember, they started the season 1-5, and they've won back-to-back matches without Tessa Grubbs. And the top 4 teams come April, and this is just about the halfway point of the season. The top 4 teams make the Lovb playoffs.
Again, tips too aggressive. You're pushing it too deep into the defenders.
Now Thompson. Fairbanks going to Adams. Off the block, lets it go, and it's out of bounds. Atlanta by 1.
They're just staying in it long enough to let good things happen.
Julia San Giacomo getting some playing time. Eva Hudson in place of Eva Hudson. She's in the back row now as Jemerson serves. Merzick. Jess Merzick finds a seam in the block. Houston gets the side out, evens it up at 15.
Yeah, that's that play with the middle serve, so they have to play defense left back. And the left front blocker was in helping with the front one, so they couldn't go backwards to dig. So you had Jemerson covering the whole sideline by herself.
And Merzick read it well. Fairbanks going to Afebu. She finds some floor. 16-15 Atlanta.
Beautiful set. They run that combination play where Afebu's actually going into Adams' zone also. So if I'm Houston, I may want to start releasing my middle and putting her over towards both of those hitters.
12 kills now for Afebu, hitting .550. And that one's in. Houston let it go. 17-15 Atlanta.
This is starting to feel slightly eerie. Again, early in the match, they were serving libero so much, and these are those occasions where the outsides are next to each other.
Wasn't an ace that time for Fairbanks. Previous point was her third, but it resulted in the kill for Adams on the overpass. Timeout taken by Houston.
Yeah, again, I don't think Atlanta is doing anything spectacular from the service line, but they're doing enough just to get them.
Houston had a 13-10 lead. It's an 8-2 run for Atlanta with Fairbanks serving. Merzic's pass is a good one this time. Merzic on the swing. Blocked! Ivani Montano on the block. What a match she's having. 21 kills for Montano, and now a block.
That's beautiful. Just shoots hands straight over, doesn't need to make a big move. And I believe Paulo Coco was showing her a block move on the bench when they were talking. So that's one of those beautiful moments in coaching when you talk to the athlete about what you want them to do, and the very next opportunity it happens.
feel like you made a difference out there. There's JT. JT, did she get the hand? She did not. Look at this. Atlanta has taken charge here in the fourth set. Houston challenging whether or not there was a touch in the net on the attack by Thompson.
Atlanta tonight is like a zombie apocalypse. They're just always on your heels, and they just keep coming, and it may be slow moving, it may not be super aggressive, but you turn around and it's still there.
And there was a touch. Good challenge, and it's successful. And did they ever need it?
Yeah. If they had missed that ball, especially coming from Thompson, who at this point Houston is so used to relying on her, it's unfair to put that much pressure on her. But if they make an error there and it's a 5-point game, that's hard to come back from.
Can Houston give Atlanta a taste of their own medicine and come back late in this set to force a fifth? Combo play, Montano tools the block. 2016 Atlanta.
Yeah, beautiful. Very simple, beautiful offense. Front one, backside red or quick set, and you're just doing it very precise, hard for the blockers to react and get hands directly over the net.
Montano, now 22 kills. Out of system here. Palgatova into the match. Ofebu diving dig by Briseño. Did they ever need that? Thompson uses the block. Full credit, Lauren Briseño.
And Adams already knows this. I see her yelling into her own hands. That's that free ball situation where they earned a great block touch. Middle back controls that, and they didn't control the dig, couldn't get a swing. That's a 2-point swing right there. That very easily could be 21-16 right now.
Can Atlanta flush it? Ofebu. Briseño trying to dig it. Kept alive by Alonco. Kingdon Rishel off speed. Fairbanks going to San Giacomo. Kingdon Rishel. Kept alive by Palgatova. Options here for Fairbanks. Montano, her 23rd kill. Her previous high this year was 9.
Yeah, this is a great situation where she finally gets her second start of the night. She's lighting up it. I love the fact they're running a 3 or a shoot set with the middle to take that blocker away to create the one-on-one. We talked about blocking not being an exact science. Richel's in the right spot. It just squeaks through her hand. Really good block move.
A lot of times that would work. That time it didn't.
Yep. But quality pass, running system, really hard to stop all these teams that are in system.
Magdalena Yehelasheva, tough server, sends it away. Briseño's pass very tight to the net. Foley got dug by Yehelasheva. Thompson. 21-18, side out Houston.
Yeah, she's going to get her kills. No big deal. Just side out.
Yeah, Atlanta perfectly happy to trade side outs at this point.
No problem. Again, they've just been so good at not being disappointed in whatever level they're playing. They've really just shown up point by point and let good things happen.
The rookie Maya Sands in to serve and play some defense. Just 8 service attempts this year, and what a time for her to come in for this one. Short serve, good pass by Adams. Montano, 24 kills.
You know, she's starting to put herself in that upper echelon where I was talking about Alexa Gray and Jordan Thompson being able to score regardless of what's in front of them. She's taking this ball from a really high point, just going over the top, blasting high and hard.
Atlanta 3 points away from coming in here and having an absolutely huge win. Like, this could be a season-making win for them. Jordan Thompson with other thoughts. Side out Houston.
Yeah, no problem. You've created the cushion. Now it's really important in this business end of the set. Just take care of what you need to take care of on your side of the net. Houston can make 4 wow plays, and you're still going to win this match.
Right over the top. Let's see if they can get Montano involved again. There's Jemerson on the slide. Kept alive by Briseño and Alanco. Options for Fairbanks. She goes to Sangiacomo. Dug by Thompson, who claps her hands. Diving play by Polgatova. Jemerson on the block. Covered up by Briseño twice. Lauren Briseño. And now Maddie Kingdon-Rischel. Dug by Pinoy. Here comes Montano. Off the block. Covered up nicely by Fairbanks. Sangiacomo with the kill. Julia Sangiacomo, Atlanta 2 points away.
That's that rotation we talked about last time through. You got these two attackers that maybe aren't the most physical, so if you don't get out of this rotation, Houston can go on a run. That wasn't just 1 point. You got out of your worst rotation, which means now you get Adams back front row. You're going to get Onia back in the front row really soon. So it's their rotation 4 they did a great job of getting out of.
Jordan Thompson has 26 kills, tied for the second most in league history. Montano has 24. Igidi able to get one back for Houston. 23-20 Atlanta.
Yeah, Igidi's got a great stat line. But again, if you're not paying attention, you just don't notice her. I don't know if they're using her in the right situations. But again, it's 8 kills on 14 swings. I just don't know if that's enough swings for her.
Maddie Kingdon-Rischel will serve. Beatrice Negrati in serve receive. Let's see who Kingdon-Rischel targets. It was Mac Adams. Back row attack by Montano. Ebony Montano, 25 kills. That's tied for the 4th most in League One volleyball history. Match point for Atlanta.
Unbelievable. And you realize that Houston is hitting 360 on the night, which is well above anyone's average in the whole league. Just so happens that Atlanta's hitting 420.
Tia Jemerson will try to serve them across the finish line. They've got some breathing room here. Match point, Love Atlanta. Alanco teeing up JT. Kept alive by Alanco and Briseño. Polgatova over the top, and she got it. Got the touch at the net. Second match point coming up for Atlanta.
Yeah, you got 3-point cushion here. You got a few opportunities. You're in a decent rotation. They just took Jill Hashaba, who's in for a blocking sub. You got Oni in the front row with Adams, 2 quality hitters. Montano in the back row.
See what kind of pressure Igidi can put on here.
I think you have to keep Oni tight to setter to create a one-on-one with Adams outside. You got her matched up on setter here.
There's Montano. Ivani Montano, what a moment for her. Atlanta wins it. Montano incredible.